Hello, everybody. When I was a teenager, I decided I was going to learn to play piano. Everything was laid out very logically. When I was an adult, I decided I'd learn to play guitar. Guitar lesson books are laid out totally different than piano lesson books. With the piano, I could so easily see this is a tonic, this is a dominant, this is a subdominant. I knew how the chords fit together. With guitar, you just learn the chords. It's like this is the chord, this is the chord, and you couldn't really see how they were related, especially not in many of the guitar lesson books. Let me try a different tact. I'm noticing nowadays with students, there have been times when teachers say, well, we'll just use a calculator. You don't have to memorize the times table. And so the students are now coming to high school with no idea of number sense. They don't know how the numbers go together. So here's where we're at with my Japanese class. My Japanese students love this section of Duolingo. When they can get to it, that is, it takes a little while for it to unlock. When it unlocks, they really love it. They really like writing the hiragana, the katakana, the kanji. They really like that. But it's not laid out in gojuon. It's not laid out in the Japanese alphabet. It's laid when you click on the hiragana button here and click learn the characters, it is it's not random, but it's Duolingo wants you to learn this word sushi. Okay? So the first thing they're going to give you is su, and then the second thing they're going to give you is shi. Way down here, all right? Instead of starting you with a, I, ue, o, kakiku, keko. And that's fine, but my students aren't seeing a relationship between these. And the fact of the matter is if I can get them to know a, I, ue, o, kakiku, keko, sashi, susu, so, tachi, tsute, to, nani, nune, no, etc., 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 then it takes me 5 minutes to teach them how every single verb inflects in the entire language. Okay, all the 5-step verbs, but the 1-step verbs are easy because they're 1 step, right? But 5 minutes, if they can visualize this. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing in Wayground right now, which my students are really enjoying, which is kind of bridging the gap between between anything we do. It's not just Duolingo, because as much as I love Duolingo, I don't use one curriculum. I'm pulling from everywhere. I'm very comprehensible input. But, I like Duolingo for when my students do homework, so that they're having some contact with the language outside of school. So this is how I bridge the Duolingo Japanese path with what I want my students to learn in class. I'm Madame Sensei. I teach Spanish, French, Japanese, English language arts, and Wonics summer health. And I am a Wayground game changer and ambassador. Quizzes is now Wayground. I almost said quizzes, right? But I can be reached at all these other places. Come talk to me about this because I like to think outside the box. Join me on Duolingo right now so I can show you what they do that my students really like. So here we are in the Duolingo Japanese course, and the Chinese course has something similar, and the Korean course has something similar, and I assume that the Arabic and Hebrew courses have something similar. Anything with a writing system that is not like the English alphabet, basically. All right, so you click over here, characters. Oh, I think I'm still in kanji. Hold on. All right, so you've got this tips and learn the characters, and you can't click on these individual, well, maybe you can click. No, it just pronounces it. Then you just click on learn the characters right here. And then it just takes you through some random ones, okay? So, okay, it turns out I'm too advanced because I finished the whole Japanese course. That's why I had that little circle instead of like the path at the beginning. So I'm back in the kanji section because I've just done 5 hiragana lessons and not gotten a single writing one. So I'm back in the kanji section to show you how it works. So here we are with a writing one, and my students absolutely love these writing exercises. So I'm writing with a mouse right now. Isn't this beautiful? And it kind of walks you through it. And here's another one. They'll remove a couple of strokes, and then you got to go through, and by the end of the lesson, you should know how to write it, right? And then sometimes there's these put them together, put the radicals together ones. Here we go at the top, and you notice that they don't. Okay, so they are telling me where it goes here, but it's less railroady. That's a beautiful mouse thing, huh? Okay, just like that. So my students really love this, but it's hard for them to get to this section of Duolingo because you have to have finished like a couple of units first. So they get a little frustrated because they know this is really good. They've seen maybe their classmates do it. They've seen me do it. I'll let them come up to my computer and do it. But they really want to be able to do it themselves. And besides, there's certain things I want to teach them. Duolingo, their Japanese lessons, their Japanese unit is not as robust as some of the other ones. It doesn't really go in a logical order. And also with these, especially with these kanji ones, they don't really teach you like, oh, this here is life and this is standing and this is usually like a cliff face and these go together and they don't teach you that. And I find with my students that they can remember much better if I can connect it all in a story. So I'm going to take you back to Wayground and show you what I've done in Wayground to kind of approximate this. And I'm pretty happy with it. My students are pretty happy with it. Okay, so here we are in Wayground, and I really like that I can preview as a student. And this is just their draw exercise. And let's see, do this one. And I just took a little screenshot of the textbook, one of my hundreds of millions of textbooks. And the students can, look at this is with a mouse. That's pretty good. Students can just practice as many times as they want. Let me get the submit button. And then I can toggle it so that they're getting an order of what I want, or I could make it random, but I'd rather it be in order. But here's something I really like to do is, you know, when we were in kindergarten, we confused B and D all the time. Same thing's going to happen in Japanese. So now I can put them side by side and the students can practice writing them to make sure that this is beautiful with the mouse. Yeah, beautiful. They make sure that they can get them solid. So I skipped a bit so as not to bore you and to try to keep my thing under 10 minutes. And wow, this is hard to do with a mouse. What can I do with the mouse? Let's try that again. There we go. Oh my gosh, that's terrible with a mouse. Okay. All right. So then I also have these wonderful reorder things. So I can teach the students the order, which is going to help them so much. It's going to help them so much when we start inflecting verbs. And like I said, it takes 5 minutes to explain how to inflect verbs once you have the order of the gojuon in your head. All right, we've got an audio response. Okay, so sashisuseso. They can practice talking. Oh, I can even listen to it, huh? And then I've got all the sorts of other things for them to practice now that they, I usually give a spelling test once they learn certain things. So, yeah, I like the matching. It's just so much more targeted than Duolingo gives, I think. And they still get the writing practice. All right, so here I've used drag and drop just to give them little syllables. I just think cognitively it's better for them to think in terms of the whole thing with the drag and drop rather than a multiple choice. So then we have a spelling test in class, and so these just go over what the spelling test is going to have. And it's all a bunch of words that can be written with in this case, we're on the third line, right? All right, so one of the reasons I like doing all the hiragana, katakana in order is because you get two for the price of one with many of the lines, right? So I can explain to them that, hey, where are your tongue, teeth, and lips when you say s? All right, put your hand on your throat. Okay, say s. All right, now where are your tongue, teeth, and lips when you say z? Same place, right? Put your hand in your throat. You can feel your throat vibrating. Why invent a totally new letter? We can just notate on this letter that, hey, you're using your vocal cords this time. So I've got another audio recorder one. Zzz, we'll just do that. There we go. Here. Come on. Sure. Submit. Internet problems today. There we go. And that's it. So I get a little more targeted this way, and the students really enjoy it. So it's a win-win-win. All right, hope to see you on the next one.